Hey everybody, Kevin here, and a little something for your performance edge. Now, I work with a lot of teams, and if you're on a team or if you're leading a team, there are success indicators. There are things that really stand out and jump out when it comes to the understanding of what your value as a team is to the organization and to the business owner or whoever the person is that delegated you the responsibility of being on this team or leading this team. And I'm going to give you one huge invisible because it kind of came out in a conversation I had the other day with a client. And we were walking through, just how strong the team was. And it hit me that really ultimately one of the biggest kind of invisibles that exists on a great team is that a great team answers questions that the business owner or the leader's not asking. Now, there's a kind of a genealogical element to this, by the way. So I'm going to get into the genealogy of it, okay? Imagine a family tree, okay? But when you're a business owner and you have defined who your key three are, when your key three are functioning at the highest level, they are answering questions you're not asking. They are dealing and seeing and experiencing all kinds of things that are going on within the organization, within their responsibilities, within developing the outcomes that you've set for those teams and those leaders. All those things come about and there's problems that are created. There are questions that are being asked that you're not a part of. And if you are a person on that team and you're answering those questions, that's a beautiful thing. That's an indicator that it's not anything that I need to send up the ladder for them to weigh in on necessarily. It just means that I'm entrusted to handle this. I'm a steward of the responsibility of the opportunity to deal with whatever this issue is or this question is that has emerged and to solve it and work it out for good towards that outcome that the CEO or the vision or whatever it is that has been set for you. Now, that's really powerful, but what if you're the leader and you have other people on the team? Here's a question for you. Are they answering questions that you're not asking? Are they empowered at the level at which they know what part of the outcome you're responsible for and have that level of that outcome been delegated properly to them so that they can have that level of autonomy, agency, right, and command to be able to deal with and process that properly? Because when they're processing it properly, there is like a flow that comes from this. There's kind of almost like an inner peace that comes from the fact that I know what I'm doing, I know why I'm doing what I'm doing, I know what the value is of what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to advance in its growth or development without being asked, without being told, without being instructed or motivated, by anyone else other than the fact that, hey, I have the capacity and the competency to deal with this. And as I deal with things in the day-to-day, the minutia, the small things that usually add up when we send it up, that's not the game. What I want to make sure is that we're doing due diligence all the way through the organization to continue to pass down that ability for people below you to ask questions or answer questions you're not asking. To be able to then find out. So then, well, what happens if I won't know what's going on? Yeah. Yeah. Now, there are reporting structures, right? There's news and information that you're getting, but mostly what you're going to be able to see is the indicators that occur in other kinds of performance dynamics, other types of performance indicators, other kinds of data points, and other kinds of numbers that are going to jump off the page. And I get it. Now, let's stop and take a time out because I get it. Because there's a part of us that wants to know, well, how do I reward people? How do I do that? What if people do things because it's the right thing? That maybe it doesn't always have to be rewarded. Maybe sometimes accountability and leadership and those things are required. Solving problems is required. And because people lean into that, when the performance indicators kick in, that's when you're spreading the love. That's when you're kind of sharing it with other people and giving them the juice. And that's a great time to give a high five and a bonus. And let me tell you something. Most of the time, people who are crushing it is no secret to anybody. Now, I will say this to wrap up, and we might talk about this in another post, but there is things that you want to know how it's working when it's working right, so you can fix it whenever it's not working right. And that's why you sit down with teams and you bring teams together, and sometimes you do postmortems on certain things. Hey, what were some of the biggest challenges we solved this last quarter? Oh, we worked on this, we worked on this, we worked on this. And you might be freaking out going, hey, I didn't know any of that. That's beautiful. Like, that's the thing. Like, that's the gold. Because listen, if you're an executive leader, if you're leading other things, there's certain things that only you should be doing that you need to take to another level. And if you're too stuck in the world of asking questions to get people to answer them, that's not the game. You want people answering questions you're not asking. So with that said, that's a huge invisible. And like I always say, when you see invisible, you become unstoppable. So do some damage out there. Have a great one.